A motion by Helmut.
Welcome to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township. You know, those people that make laws and regulations that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you went and elected, and the committees and the commissions that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you went to that meeting or not. And the result could be a
Taxing.
situation.
It could be. And there's humor. We always, drag the humor out, screaming and kicking every time.
Yes, and like cream, it floats to the top, or like a rocket sinks to the bottom. But
Right. And you'll also find rumors, and they spread quickly, Facebook or whatever. But the biggest spreader of rumors is this guy. Yes.
Oh, that guy.
Right. Well, let's talk about a few meetings that occurred, shall we?
Okay. What do you got?
One of these times you're going to say no.
No.
Then I don't know what I'm going to say. But anyway, the first one would be Leonard Village Council meeting that they had on October 8th. The second one is the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals, the ZBA. And that was held the same night. So let's talk about the Leonard Village Council first.
I got all the heavy hitters.
Sure. Mike McDonald, of course, is the president of the council. And Susan Southerby, she serves on that board. Paul Almirante serves there.
Susan Southerby?
Did I say Susan?
Yes, you did.
Well, who is it?
It's Charlene.
Oh, I thought it was Charlene Susan.
Oh.
I did this just to see if he's awake. Guess what? He is. Can't put him back into the box now. He's out. Okay. Yeah, Char. Everybody knows Char, and she's been very active in our community for years.
Sorry, Susan.
Yeah. She kind of likes Susan, too, So
All right.
you could do that. But Char is the name that she has to go by, the politically correct name.
But if Susan is more musical to your ear, let
the music begin.
Right.
Okay, Char. Anyway, so we want to talk about who's on that board. Larry Hoffman is on that board, and Alex Kennedy serves also as a trustee. Now, the clerk, Cindy Groskopf.
Okay.
Groskopf.
Yes.
No, Cindy. You folks will remember these
Tomato,
names.
tomato.
This is where the rumors begin. Okay, she's the clerk, but she was absent in this particular meeting. Treasurer was there, and that's Judy Verse. And they want to count the money, make sure it's there. Judy wants to make sure everything's kosher. So, yes, Judy, the treasurer. Pledge was given. The prayer was created by Char, known as Susan, out there. And the minutes for September 10th. Now, there's a little mix-up there because the minutes actually read the wrong date. So they had to put an amendment to the minutes in order to get that corrected. And the actual date is the 10th. And they had the 11th on. So there's a little humor and conversation with
So when
it.
they make a little correction like that, do they have to reapprove them at the next meeting?
No, they just go ahead and change the date.
Okay.
Yep, that's the way it worked, rather quick. Agenda, they wanted to add an authorization to a resolution to it, which they did, and it was approved. And we'll talk about that a little bit later down the pike here. Treasurer's report was received and filed, went rather quickly. And then we got into the money, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Oh, money.
Yep. Accounts payable, in other words, bills, right?
Yep.
Not the bill service that runs the station, but
No. And
bills.
as we all know, money makes the world go round.
It does, yeah. And it sometimes comes to a stop, right? But the world is still going around over in Leonard. It's doing good. So anyway, the general fund amount for bills was $10,866, and get this, 12 cents. And the major account, now they have several accounts, as you know, better than being a no account.
Mm-hmm.
Major account, $26,510.81. And the local, $47.12. I think that was for hamburgers, I'm pretty sure.
Well.
But anyway, that's what that amount was. And then, of course, there's an account called Mills, Parks, and Recreation.
Was there anything in it this time?
No bills.
Okay.
Yep. But by the way, they can still use volunteers because they're still working on that project over there. So if you want to contact the administrative building and people there, and raise your hand, say, hey, I can help out. What do you need? Right?
That's right.
A lot of volunteers over there in Leonard. I love that little town. Public comment, 5-minute limit on it. Gentleman stood up and he said, there's brush. He says, you know the brush in that alley we talked about before? The brush is still there, and it's getting taller. And of course,
Someone put
Mike
Miracle
McDonald.
Grow on it.
Mike McDonald says, don't worry, snow's coming. So, no, he didn't say that. Well, that was a rumor that he wanted to spread, but I couldn't do it, folks. Sorry. Anyway,
If you wait for a few months, the snow will go.
yeah, all right. Could go. So anyway, so this gentleman was really complaining about this alley that is a hazard. You got this big old bush, and you can't see around it, and so actually,
Is this a bush or a weed?
it started as a weed.
Oh.
Now it's a master weed.
I see.
Great
I don't know. I
big
just
weed.
wonder if someone had planted it or it just sprung
Oh
up
no,
by
it
itself.
just sprung out of the ground all by itself.
Alrighty then.
In the last 20 years, it did that.
But
But anyway, they want it removed, and that's
sometimes you plant something for decoration and it becomes an obstruction after a while.
right. It does. And speaking of obstruction, Mike McDonald, the president, he said, "Oh, by the way," he said, "that alley. Have you ever seen anybody going the wrong way in the alley?" The resident says, "All the time." He says,
Is there a wrong way?
"Well, there apparently isn't a right way.
Is it assigned one way?
It's supposed to be."
I see. He left that one unfinished.
Right. Take a note. Put it on the bottom of those stack of yellows you have over there. And one of these days we're going to cover nothing but these well, that could take a while. We'd have to have about 10 hours show.
And you wonder where the term yellow press came from.
I can tell. I know why they're yellow.
Aged like a fine wine.
Yes, it is. Okay. And I can see it because it's kind of gradual in colors. It goes from yellow to green
To
blue.
green.
And then you have the moss. That's on the bottom. But anyway,
Then it becomes an archaeological site.
it does. Yep. And so you get your chippers out and you try and check it out. So anyway, so that's what was covered as far as a public comment. And let's see what else happened. That did cover the public. There was a lot of public comment made. Mostly the big issue was the alley.
Oh, okay. That's it.
No alley cats, just alley and brush. So the next thing they talked about was...
I thought you were hitting a coda there, but never mind.
No, I missed that one. That got on the train a week ago. But anyway, the new business was for Halloween. Guess what? They're going to have Halloween again this year. And it's going to be October 31st. And it's going to be from 6 to 7 p.m. And
6 to 7?
6 to 7, 1 hour.
Run, kids, run!
And I think Witches' Night is coming out somewhere around that time. So.
Witches' Night or Devil's Night?
No, Witches' Night in Oxford.
Oh, okay.
It used to be, what do they call it? Women's Stroll Out?
Oh, Soup and Stroll.
No, not Soup and Stroll. Ladies' Night Out. That's what it used to
Ladies'
be.
Night Out.
Yep. And actually, that one in Oxford is being sponsored by, let me see, 51 Street, along with some other businesses.
Oh, wow.
So it's not with the DDA. So it's a private endeavor to, encourage people to come downtown.
So a business stepped right up and
Yeah, we
did
jumped,
the right thing.
Yeah, we just jumped out of Leonard and ended up in Oxford here. And we're going to jump back to Leonard when we come back right after this, folks.
If you're interested in sponsoring a show for OCTV, please give us a call at 248-628-9658 and we'll air a promotional video for your local business.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're talking about the Leonard Village Council, which is held on October 8th, 2018 of this year. And we said that Halloween is coming up for them and between 6 and 7 p.m. on October 31. So all you little critters, be back home by 7:30, maybe at the latest, right?
Be there and be quick.
Be there and be quick. Okay, so that was approved. Don't forget, they wanted to remind everybody the election is coming up November 6th. And
That's right.
This is an opportunity for you to have your say out there and maybe change direction in some people's attitudes.
And if there's some confusion as to who you want to vote for, you can know who's running for governor and, your state senator. But there's an awful lot of other people running for office that you may not know about. So get the League of Women Voters publication that's in your library, your township and village offices for free.
Yes, and it's an informational thing. I mean, it's not they don't have a specific cause to elect any particular individuals.
Nope.
So it's a good opportunity to pick up that voter's guide.
Every candidate is given the opportunity to say what he stands for and respond to certain questions that the League of Women Voters have put on the on their publication.
And where can our viewers pick this up again?
Any township office, any village office, libraries. We got stacks of them.
Right. He mostly has them in his garage, so just stop by
And
his
the price is right. It's free.
Free, yeah. Okay, so that being said, we're going to talk about what continued with the Leonard council meeting. Elmwood project, remember that one? Where they doing the street?
Yeah.
Okay, there were apparently some issues involved, things that need to be touched up and taken care of. And one of the subjects that came up was, hey, one of the curbs was damaged. And the president of the council, he says, well, he said, it wasn't the construction crew that did this.
Oh.
He said they actually took pictures, video of that particular curb area, and it was damaged before they began. So it happened before that. So he said, I really can't go back to them and beat them on it. He said it wasn't their fault. And the guy said, oh, okay. He said, can we blame them anyway? No, we can't do that. So they went on further, and they did talk about the sanitary sewer update. They're waiting for an EPA feedback from them before they go any further with that discussion. Remember, they have sewer problems, talk about bubbling to the top.
Oh.
Okay. So
Hate it when it does that.
right, and they'll be discussing this down the line. Trust me, this one will not go away. Trees were removed, and that was part of the report from the DPW, Department of Public Works there. And remember, they had a contract to remove these dead trees.
All right.
And a gentleman spoke, and he said, whoa, he says, he said, there's a tree that looks pretty dead on such and such location. And the president, he said, he said, that one's not dead enough yet. So he said that wasn't put on the list. When it's dead enough, he said, then we'll put it on the list. But anyway, so they did remove dead trees, but unfortunately, the company they hired did not remove the stumps as was in the contract.
Oh, didn't call for a stump grinder, eh?
Well, it was in the contract that they
But-
were supposed to remove it, but the people who did the job, who awarded the contract, apparently didn't remove the stumps. So Mike McDonald said, I'll chase after them, I'll find them. He said they can run, but they can't hide. He said, well, we'll get those stumps ground. So that took care of that.
Oh, by the way, did they pay for it already?
I don't know. Nobody made that mention. So
There's always that one to hold over.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you would know because that's the way you do business.
What's that? Half now, half later?
Half now, half later. Yep. And if they don't later, then they get no half.
That's right.
That's the way it works.
Or no quarter.
Right.
Give them no quarter.
The other thing that came up was census count. The township and the village are going to cooperate together to do the census.
No, that's
And they
rolling
said-
up in 2020, isn't
Right.
it?
He said, you folks that are hiding out there, stop hiding. We want to find you. Because it means money. It means money to the township and to the village.
Yeah, that population shifts. There's winners and losers.
There are. They did discuss the summer festival, the strawberry festival, and they said, how much money did we make? Well, we never make money on this. They said, huh? So we don't make money at it. That's because we have a lot of fun, but no money.
Oh,
Okay, no fun, no mon. Okay, lots of fun, no mon. I forget how it works, but anyway, they didn't get any, but they have a good time. President's report, he talked about Pollyant Trail and that they're going to clip cuttings, horizontal cuttings, get rid of, things that are growing that shouldn't be growing there.
what happened to the goats?
They overate, and they all fell over.
I see.
Maybe not. They will spread that rumor.
I see.
Okay, goats, bad goats. Okay.
They
didn't eat them all.
They ate all the delicious stuff, but they left,
They left, they're only
ugh.
for dessert, They're like kids. Dessert, give me the dessert first. And forget the food. What do you mean? Brussels sprouts.
But they can eat stuff that, other animals or other things don't eat, like
Yeah.
poison ivy.
Yeah, they eat the
Doesn't
same
bother
things
them
you
at
eat.
all.
Don't bother them at all.
Doesn't
Right?
bother them at all.
They got it. Okay, so then they did a CDBG report. You know what that is? Community Development
Block grant.
Right. And they said that they have funds in there to the tune of about $11,000, but you have to use that money within a 3-year period. And if you don't, guess what? That sucking sound you hear is the government taking back the money. So they have to
They take it all back, or do they take just what's
they
left?
Take what they allocated during that period.
So if you only spent 90%, you're giving 100% back?
Right. No, they didn't spend, I mean, whatever is left in there.
Oh, whatever was left.
Yeah,
Okay.
left.
All right.
Picky.
Hey,
Okay.
that gets to be a big picky.
Yeah, you don't want to run out and have to take loans because you have to fulfill their wishes, right?
Hey.
Is that what you're thinking? I think you are. Okay.
Better
so-
be a good project manager.
Right, that's it. So that pretty much covered Leonard.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals.
All right.
Marjorie Payne serves on that board. Kelly Rosner Meyer, Walters, Haley, and Butler all serve on the Zoning Board of Appeals. There's 5 members. Pledge, of course, the agenda. They added an item to it, or wanted to add an item. Kelly Rosner brought up, but they didn't go forward that item being added to the agenda. So they jumped into the minutes for September 10th, 2018. It was approved immediately. Public comment, not on the agenda. Nobody, get out from under the chair, you guys. But no. Regular business, Lake Point Community Church, known as Christ the King Church.
Oh.
And they want to change their roadside sign to Lake Point Community Church, but they want to add an LED capability, changing copy on it.
Electric sign.
Electric sign.
Oh, that's
right.
always a big item, isn't it?
Well, that is, particularly since this is residential area that
Yeah.
it's located in. And I'm trying to think, Bob Holt is the pastor, and he spoke, for the church in this sign.
But the township does have an electronic sign ordinance, don't they?
They do. They absolutely do. And this location, of course, is 1550 West Drainer Road. And the size of the sign is allowed to be a 32 square foot sign, which doesn't conflict with what's there. The big issue was the lights and the LED. And interesting enough, Jim Sharp, who was a resident of that area, said that he would not like to see LED signs because it would establish a precedent, in that area.
In a residential area.
In a residential area. And interesting enough, the consultant, Lauren, she said the same thing. She said she would be against it for that purpose, that it would establish a...
Do those signs have variable brightness? The brightness
Yeah.
that might be visible in the daytime might be too bright for at night?
It's adjustable.
Okay.
They can adjust it. There's a recommended low light level, and where you can go from there. And that was all explained, at this meeting. And the request was denied for variance.
Oh.
So that took care of that. And we'll tell you more when we come back, folks, right after this. Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about the Oxford Township ZBA,
Zoning.
Zoning Board of Appeals. Gotcha.
All right.
Okay. Then the next issue that came up was 3300 Ludwig Road. The individual at that location, his name is Dean Harris.
That's off of Oakwood, isn't it?
It is. And the gentleman, Dean Harris, who applied for this variance, actually ended up with knee surgery, so he couldn't attend. So he said to his wife, "Honey, would you fill in for me?" She goes, she said, "I'm not one that speaks before audiences." You always do this to me. Right? But she says, "Here I am." So she said, "I explain it the best I can." And they have a young daughter who their yard is not fenced in. They need to fence it in because there's an intersection that they're located on a corner lot. And either put it in the front yard or the backyard, and they're looking for a 6-foot-high vinyl fence that they're going to be putting in to restrain this little critter, who she says is very active.
Ah.
So after all was said and questioned here, she did get approval, go forward with it.
That's a safety concern.
Safety was definitely the concern, and many of these people on this board voiced that position. Okay, they set the 2019 meeting dates also, and that was approved and went forward. Now, we do want to remind you folks out there, remember that you vote on November 6th. 6th, yes. This guy keeps wanting to change it. But
No.
it is November 6th. And I mean, there's some very important issues coming up. One is the Oxford Township Parks and Recreation. That's on there.
That's a millage.
Yeah, and they're just asking for 1 mil, and they've not asked for any millage increase for years. And Ron Davis, the director of the parks, has used the limited funding he's had to do an amazing thing with all these
He has a
parks.
premier park and rec system there.
Yes. So keep that one in mind. Not telling you how to vote, but you know, I hope your pencil works, or your pen. Okay, spots. Let me see, 3 spots for the village council. You can vote in the village council. 3 openings on there.
There's
3
3 people
to fill it.
running.
So I wonder who's going to win.
You can only vote for 3.
Right. It's too bad that more people don't go
I
for
know,
that. Though.
I know.
You know, it'd be nice if they did. Give you a lot more variance. You know, to put people on this board.
So what happens if someone is on the ballot but no one votes for them? That's not likely, but
Well,
Then
not
what?
not
They-
everybody will not vote for them. They'll still get the number of votes required.
well, I know that, but you know,
Yeah.
not
I mean,
likely,
if nobody
but
showed up, what would happen if nobody showed up?
Nobody. You gave an election and no one showed
Give an
up.
election, nobody showed up.
Wow.
Another thing I would like to talk about here is there's a bill just left the Senate, the
A
state
very
Senate.
important bill.
Yes, and this bill is not bill service, but it's Senate Bill 637. Pretty important little bill out there as far as your PEG stations are concerned.
This is not a
charter
national bill.
fees.
This is our state.
Yep, and we're going to really be out of state if this thing goes through.
Right, and it could mean a very drastic cut in the franchise fees that go to support our station.
Yeah, it will virtually cut
In
all
any
the
station.
funding, you know, for this station and all the type of stations that are within this area. That means on TV and others that you folks are familiar with in this local area, in which you get your local news and you get your local sports activity reports and everything going on concerning the people, you, the residents here. And the franchise funding will be completely lost if this bill goes through, and it's at the House level at this point.
That's right. So if you can notify your local politician, especially your state representative and your state senator, that this could really affect what you viewed on a daily basis from our station and any PEG station in the state for that matter, get in touch with them.
Yeah,
They
and if
need
you want,
to be talked to.
You want to get rid of this guy minutes by minute? This is the fastest way to do it.
Throw him under the bus again.
You don't want to. You don't want to leave. No. The other thing too is that you're going to have an amazing situation happen. It's going to be row, row, row your boat. Here they come. They're going to be putting these large pieces of equipment in your front yard for communications, and you will not have a say in it. The township will
Right.
not have a say in it.
These will be refrigerator-sized boxes that will be on
Right.
top of poles, maybe very close to you.
Yeah, and actually the township, what'll happen here is that they won't have any control of it as well. Like right now, the right-of-ways are controlled by your township. So that'll stop.
Yeah, they
At a
can
given
put
point.
them anywhere they want.
They put them everywhere they want. Put it on your front porch. I don't know if they could do that. Yeah, they could probably do that.
You think
They
cell
could do
towers?
it-
You think cell towers are ugly?
Yeah, if they could stick them on a pole in front of your place, a 7 cubic foot unit, you know, in front of your house, they certainly could put it on your front porch next. That'd be the next step.
Yikes!
Give them an inch and they'll take a mile, a mile, a mile. But anyway, here's the point. You folks will lose all of the programming that you're used to seeing over the last 20 some odd years from this TV station. Every station in the state of Michigan will lose on this, and as a result, you, the people, will be the losers before
Yeah.
it's finished here. And if you allow this bill, Senate Bill 637, to go through, contact
All the news items, all the sports programs that we do, all the public interest programs that we put on.
Yep. Contact your senators, you know, contact your House of Representatives, contact people that you know that have political clout on this thing, and voice your opposition to this if you do have an opposition to it. If you're for it, we don't want to hear it. So that's not the thing that should happen here. We really want to support the community and give as much
right.
information as you can. As you know,
So-
your TV stations, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 12, they don't record or respond to the news and the types of items that we cover here for you local folks.
That's right. So if you got Twitter, tweet like an angry bird.
Tweet, tweet, tweet.
And email, make their phones light up in Lansing. Do what you have to do to save a station like this and every station that depends on franchise fees in the state of Michigan.
They do. We've had to fight pretty much for, funding for years, and we found avenues in which we could make it work. Long
Right.
before I got here, I mean, there's people that have worked on this. Terry Stiles, who's our executive director here and producer. Bill Service, our latest, station manager here. People like that in the past have always considered you folks out there first. So
So,
pay attention. If you let this one slip by, it's going to be gone forever. So what's coming up? Talking about forever.
well, we've only got 2 meetings. On
No.
10/23 at 6:30, the Village of Oxford Council will be meeting, and on 10/25, I believe, at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Planning Commission will be meeting. And once again, if you're mystified by all of the people that are on your ballot, go and get the League of Women Voters voting guide. Free at every township office, every village office, every library. Any place the public government has anything to do with will probably have one of these, and they're free.
Well, see, you should have put a price on that. I mean, no, we don't want to do that. Very honest guy over here. That's one of his faults. But
Oh.
anyway, no, it's a pretty good bit of information that you folks can pick up.
They do a terrific job every
Especially,
year.
I mean, you talk about judges. How many of you folks out there know which judge to vote for?
Or the trustees on the U of M, or trustees on Michigan State. There's
Right.
a lot of proposals. If you don't know what those proposals are, don't be shocked when you go in. Learn about them ahead of time.
Right. The worst thing you can do is say, well, let me see, this guy is Irish, so I'm going to vote for him.
Hey,
Or
that's
this guy
always
is
good.
Polish,
No.
I'm going to vote for him. Or this guy is, I don't know, he's an alien, illegal, but we'll vote for him.
Or they listed him first, so he must be good. That's not quite the way it goes, folks.
Right. And talk about the way it goes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kinney.
Catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
We'll see you then.